Hello, everyone. So I figured I'd talk about Star Wars Battlefront since it actually just came out, or not just came out. The beta came out over the weekend, and I played it pretty much all weekend long. And what I have to say about it is, well, it's right now unbalanced. I mean, some of it, just that I've seen that constantly too. That red mark, and then obviously Luke Skywalker getting. I joined this game like halfway through, anyway. So, like, you know, obviously the what is it? The Battle of Hoth. They have it so unbalanced in beta right now. It's so weird. Like, I don't know why it's unbalanced, but this map is just ridiculous. Like, let's hope they fix it. And what they got? 3 weeks? They basically have like 3 weeks to fix this game, to fix this map. I mean, the game isn't actually bad. It's actually pretty good. I had a lot of fun playing, only when I was the Empire, because the Empire would just like push the shit in of the rebels. Like, seriously, like the Empire. Oh, that poor guy. I just realized that the Empire just would kind of casually raffle stomp its way through. Some of the reasons why I find the map unbalanced also is because of the turrets. Empire can get in the rebel turrets, but the Empire doesn't need the rebel turrets. So why is the Empire allowed to enter rebel turrets? Hey, there's Luke Skywalker again. Not a very good Luke Skywalker, was he? So, I mean, the unbalancing is one problem that's going to hurt this game. Another thing is there's no campaign to it. But yet, when you play like the survival mission, they have a nice little cutscene. The game is beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this game looks simply amazing. At least in my eyes, it's one of the better looking first-person shooters out there right now. Besides, I guess. Actually, I really don't know. I guess this would really be the only thing. You know, game's got a first-person, third-person mode. Third-person is obviously superior. I don't know why it has a third-person, first-person mode. It was in the last game, or last Battlefront, which came out like 6 years ago, 7 years ago now. It's been a long time, and that game has more features than this one, which is kind of sad. I was hoping DICE would be like, well, yeah, and they bring in Galactic Conquest or something where you go around the universe conquering planets, but then again, you really only have like. I think they said like 4 planets, and each planet's going to have like a couple maps to it, depending on the mode. So probably, Walker's Salt will have a total of 4 maps of each planet, let's actually, so you guys just picked up the flying power up. Let's talk about flying as I probably die. But obviously the gameplay is pre-recorded. I recorded this before because last time I tried playing gameplay and talking. So the flying in this game is actually easier than Battlefield. I actually enjoy flying in this game way much more than I do in Battlefield. But flying like the TIE Interceptor or the A-Wing, it feels really good. It's really fast. It's got great turns. It can do all kinds of stuff alongside that. And when flying the TIE Fighter, its hitbox is pretty big, so you'd you'd be like up in the air, and you'd just like eat shit for no reason because why not? And if you hit like F1, F2, F3, you do like cool little loops. And flying is a lot easier in this game than it is in their DICE's pre-iterations, at least on PC. I mean, some people say, oh yeah, you just hook up the gamepad and you go ham. I'm like, I don't have any trouble with like PC flying at all. It's it's good. A lot of fun. I have a lot of fun flying. I actually enjoy flying in this game, and so mouse steering my way. And so just I guess flying is great. It's a lot easier to do in this game. It's a lot nicer. It's not as it's not as hard as Battlefield. In Battlefield, I've always like struggled, and like this is another problem I have. Like, I basically destroyed this dude before he even got out of his animation lock. Like, you are locked into an animation when you pick up the power up. You're like, hey, I need air support. The guy will come in and he'll be in this animation lock. but he'll be vulnerable to your attacks. And he's locked in animation, so basically if you see him spawn, you fly directly at him. There's nothing he can do. He's going to die before he gets in the air. This is the one problem I have, actually, with this game. There's a lot of animation locks. I found Luke Skywalker out in the middle of the field, and I've shot him, but it looks like he's invulnerable because he's not quite there yet. But other things, there's so many other things, like weapons. Let's go over weapons. Well, in the beta, there's 4 weapons. There's the E11, the Rebel weapon, I forgot what it's called. There's the pistol. See, like this, exactly what I was talking about earlier. I just flew right at him. There was nothing he could do. He's in an animation lock. It's not fair for that guy. And I mean, I guess when the Empire control the skies, basically, I think it was me and like 4 other people. You know, that's fine. Flying in this game, great. You did good with flying. I shoot a White Wing. I never understood that. I'm like, haha! Wait, what's the point? I mean, it's bomb already gone off. You know, it's very easy to get behind somebody when they're just like, you know, that's another thing. They come into this animation lock and they're just done. He's dead. Oh, well, you know. And lock-on's a little tough to use, but you know, you get the hang of it after a while. I think, yeah. And see, Empire wins. The Empire, I think, has the most win ratio. I've won a few as the Rebels because the Empire is just had to be so bad. It's not even funny. That's another reason. You're going to see Rebel gameplay here in a second, I think. Yeah. The Rebel side is just factually unbalanced, where people end up leaving right now because of that reason. Is just retarded. Like, that's a strong word, but yeah, it's very, very unbalanced. Empire has all of the power-ups, basically. They get, you know, what is it that they get? They get the AT-ATs, the AT-STs, TIE Fighters, TIE Interceptors, power-ups. Rebels really don't get anything. Like, they get some power-ups. They get, they get, like, some of the power-ups. They get some of this, some of that. A little taste of this, a little taste of that. But really, I mean, they do get Luke Skywalker as their hero. They get X-Wings, A-Wings, and Snow Speeders. A-Wings fly well. X-Wings are okay. The X-Wings and A-Wings are good flying. But the Snow Speeders are just these big, clunky, slow-moving vehicles that are easily shot down by the Empire, because the Empire has TIE Interceptors and TIE Fighters at that point, or at least just TIE Interceptors, where the Rebels, they lose A-Wings, they get X-Wings at the beginning, and they lose X-Wings, and they get, they get, you know, that, I'm still talking about flying here, and, but the guns, well, what are the guns? Well, the guns are that machine gun that I'm using is the DL-19. It's the fastest gun with the best range for some odd reason. Like, it's a machine gun that, it's an LMG basically that just shoots really fast and is very accurate at long range for some god-awful reason. There's me missing every shot though. And when you overheat, they have a little active reload mechanic where if you hit the lines, you hit the golden lines, you automatically just go right back into it. It's a quick reload. I think it's more like a quick reload, yeah. Not like, nothing like Gears of War style, anything like that, but yeah. You know, there's that Psycho Rifle, which, you know, is a little... I've had some people tell me it's a little too powerful, because it does take, like, 90% of your health away, and it should be on a longer cooldown. I think it's something like 9 seconds or so. Headshot's obviously insta-kill, but a body shot is... What I've seen most people do is they'll hit you in the body, and then they'll just hold down the trigger of their laser weapon, and just fucking drop you from halfway, like, from mega distances away from the map, because they hit you, and you have like 10 health. A laser or two is going to finish you off, basically, which I find kind of silly. I think it should be like Battlefield, where if you hit someone with a sniper rifle, it does. I think it was like 50% health, so it's like 2 body shots to your like 1. It's like your 1, and you know, there's me again spraying away with the DL-19. Then there's the E11, and then there's the Rebel. So there's me just outright missing that guy because I'm a fucking idiot. I have the worst aim ever. Another thing this game is missing is a kind of a climb up mechanic. You can't climb up like rocks or walls or not ups walls, but like trenches. You know, you need some kind of like mechanic where you can kind of pull yourself up over things, because you get stuck in the trenches on Walker Assault a lot, and it's just a problem. Like, they don't have any kind of, you know, little like help me get over ledge thing or anything like that. You know, you get stuck, you get stuck. That's basically it. You get stuck on something, you're stuck because you can't do anything. And so, yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Like, Empire has all of the ground support they could ever want. Rebels don't have anything unless you get into a turret, which 90% of the time the Empire either A, blows up, or B, gets into because they can. Power-ups for the Rebels seem very sparse in certain areas. Like, for instance, the first area, I find like 1 or 2 sometimes. Empire, I spawn and there's like 3 of them in a nice, beautiful line for me. I'm like, oh, cool, power-up. Same thing with, you know, see, again, there was an Empire guy in our turret. Another thing, spawning. From what I've seen, the Empire can run all the way back to our, like, last starting zone, our last, you know, put up a fight zone. They shouldn't be able to do that. They should be, they need a cutoff point for the Empire. The Empire, I believe, actually spawned closer to one of the uplinks than we do, which is weird. You'd think, and there's, you know, Empire guy up there, you know, whatever. You'd think, and I see, another thing I see is also a lot of the people in, like, the Rebel ships will try and shoot at the AT-AT when it's not vulnerable. So the point of Walker Assault is this. As a Rebel, you turn on the uplinks and you get Y-Wings to, I guess, fire off an EMP blast or something that weakens the AT-ATs. And, that weakens the... I didn't even shoot. And that weakens the AT-ATs to get into a, like, vulnerable state for you to kill. And you get, you know, 1 every, I don't know, is it like 30 seconds? See, that's what I'm talking about. I just did what a lot of people do. Is I got a body shot and that guy's still standing there. I'm just gonna spray and pray down range because it's gonna hit him. It's a fucking, you know, laser weapon. And, yeah, so there are, in beta right now, I guess some people have said, well, the Rebels don't have any, like, anti-tank weapon, or, like, anti-vehicle weapons, really. I mean, there's the power-up, but Rebels really need, you know, more power-ups. And, like, everyone and their mother is using these rifles because I did that too early. That's another thing. So there's a thing called ion charge. You know, let's talk about the cards, I guess. I don't really have a script for this. I'm just blabbering for the next, like, 10 minutes or so. I think it's like 23 minutes long when I recorded this. Let's talk about the cards. Well, there's the cards, kind of like Titanfall, but not really. You actually buy these cards with the credits you earn by playing matches and all of that stuff. So, you know, the next up, you get ion charges or personal shields or grenades. There were 2 types of grenades in beta, or the demo, as I've called it. It's basically a demo now. There's a cycle. I don't know what to call it. A sniper rifle. There's a thermal grenade and an ion grenade. Ion grenade does more damage to vehicles, where thermal grenades do damage to obviously people. Also, if some guys were in a shield, you throw the thermal grenade or the ion grenade and it breaks the shield and kills them. I think. I don't remember. Then there's the little circle power-ups that you pick up. You either get like a turret or a anti-infantry or anti-infantry or You get anti-infantry or anti-vehicle or a smart rocket, or I think I've already said turret. And occasionally there's hero power-ups. And hero power-ups you either get to play as Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. My personal favorite is friggin' Darth Vader. You just, you walk around and just like choke people out. You're just like, oh, and he's like, oh, and he's got like a saber throw, and he's got like a little saber throw, and he throws a saber around and hits a lot of people. Darth Vader, especially when the rebels get all like clumped up into the base I'm in right now, Vader walks in. I've gotten times where I've become Vader, and I just walk into the base and rebels are in a hallway, and I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I kill like half the team in one hallway because they're there. Like the heroes, when a hero takes damage, they lose health and all that stuff. And Luke Skywalker gets kind of screwed in this situation because the Empire has firepower. The Rebels, they don't. So Vader can kind of walk around and kind of chop people down, where Luke, if he's out in the open, he's going to die because AT-STs, AT-ATs, basically the firepower. The Rebels have no real firepower, which is what makes the beta kind of unbalanced. Personally, which, Rebels have. Also, I forgot the orbital strike power up. It just clicked in my head. So the orbital strike power up. Sorry, I have to breathe. The orbital strike power up is just an orbital strike. Boom, 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 boom. You get one in the AT-AT and you pick one up. It's a very rare power up. I've got it probably once or twice. It's very strong. If I usually get one, I try and hold on to it so when the AT-ATs become vulnerable, I can drop a. There's a thermal imploder, by the way. Sounds awesome. Boom. See, like in this hallway, rebels will come up in this hallway. Vader just walks in. He's like, the dark side. He just chop. He turns like, I think he's actually right there right now. I think the dot, the like solid red dot, is like Vader. Like the solid red dot is like definitely Vader. Like he just walks into the Rebels base, and he just like starts chopping. He's a hero. He's obviously very strong. The AT-ATs. Let's talk about the AT-AT and the AT-ST. Well, the AT-ATs are very powerful mid to late game. Mid game, the one that's going right down the middle of the base, right down the middle of the path, is the strongest one out of the both I've used, because it's just going right down the path. Hell, it even like lands right over like the rebellion. Like literally, you can look down and shoot the rebel spawn, which is another problem. The rebel spawns are terrible. Like literally, as a rebel, you will spawn out in the open, and the Empire will be there because the Empire has no barriers to where they can go. They are open. They can, like I said before, they can run all the way to our next spawn, all the way to our next defense location before we even get there. DICE in the past has... No, there's a guy killing me in a turret. DICE in the past has made it to where the attacking team can't get to the defending team before the defending team can get there. So, another thing is Rebels, you can't go positive Rebels except right here. I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm actually positive. But most of your kills come from the Empire. Because the Empire, you just Shrek. You're just like, ah! You just drop. 4 weapons. And this is coming to stand here. Yeah, we're gonna do this. There are 4 weapons in the game. There's in the beta right now. There is the DL-19, which is an LMG that does a lot of damage at range. There is what else is it? There's the E11, which is like a kind of a mid-long range DMR type. There is this is weapons you actually buy with credits that are part of the weapons that you use full time, that you like your primary weapons. Then you have the A2080D, the Rebel weapon, basically the 11's Empire, and then the kind of the really fast pistol and the TIE Fighter. And so right now in this match, the Empire control everything. They control our uplinks, except for one of them. They control the air. They control the ground. Basically, it's Rebels. Rebels. Excuse me. The Rebels control nothing on this battleground right now. Like, we have no air support because we lose the A-wings after the second spawn. Like, we lose X-wings after the first, A-wings after the second, and we get snow speeders. I think the point of the snow speeders... Oh, there's the squad shield, too. I think the point of the snow speeders is they're able to kill the AT-ATs. Sorry, my brain's like right now. It's able to kill the AT-ATs. I think it one-shots them, but I've never had the opportunity to get into a snow speeder and find out, because every time I get into a snow speeder, I die because the Empire just controls the skies all the time. And like I said before, if you ever try to get into a vehicle when the enemy, when the opposing team has exposed the skies, you are shown on the map basically instantly in an animation lock, and you die. Now, how are they going to fix that? I don't know. That's probably something they don't want to fix. You know, it's maybe the only thing I can say is make us vulnerable, make us vulnerable to attacks until we're able to move. You know, it's kind of like an RP thing. They're like, hey, air support coming in, or hey, ground support coming in. Now, as ATSD, I've never been killed off at the start because they spawn far enough back where lasers won't, won't like kill me over. I don't know. I've never, again, as the Empire, they have ground vehicles for days. They have all kinds of stuff. You know, they have air support. They have the AT-ATs and the ATSTs. Obviously, AT-ATs are power-ups, and ATSTs are also power-ups. I still prefer the classic Battlefield system where you just got in the vehicle and you were in that vehicle and the vehicle responded, you got back in. This power-up system is nice because I guess it kind of limits the number of vehicles, even though the spawn system worked that way too, where the vehicle wouldn't spawn until it was destroyed, in a way. I've never seen a successful snowspeeder actually kill an AT-AT. I would like to try. I guess I have another day now because they recently extended the beta demo. And I think that's basically GG. Yeah, that's GG. Alright, well, that's it. That's all I gotta say. This is gonna be hopefully a good game if DICE and EA have successfully done this. Yeah, obviously there's no campaign. There's survival missions and battles and all that stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I think that's it. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Peace!